reading for Aries for the fall of 2016. I pre-shuffled, so everything's all good to go here. So I'll start off. The first card in the center, so where you're at right now, it has Follow the Moon. So get the sense that you might be under a bit of an illusion about things going on in your life, things going on around you. Something not quite right there. Now it's Follow the Moon, so it might be just giving an intention to, you know, Aries tend to be wanting to be in charge and wanting to be in control of things and having the upper hand in that way. And if I get a sense too that you may have to kind of give that up. You may have to be in a situation where you may not, you have to put yourself in a situation where you're not always in control, and don't worry about that. You know, don't worry about being in control all the time. Maybe following the moon is kind of just going without knowing, and getting a sense that you kind of have to be along that lines. And that's very unfamiliar for an Aries. They like to know exactly what's going on and where they're going, what they're doing. And they're the leader. You follow me, not I follow you. So it's almost get the sense that in their air right now, there might be something that they're just not quite sure about, not quite knowing all the elements to something, that there's a little mystery going on, and it's like, don't worry about it. Follow that. Just let it go. Let it work itself out. Don't push to get in there to find out what's going on. Just let it evolve, because the moon will illuminate the night, and then the day will follow and shine on everything that was dark in the nighttime. So you really need to have trust and faith in the process. And I think a continual, if I must focus on the negative, I think a continual error that Aries make is going at charging in and trying to find out what's going on before the natural process unfolds. So I get a sense that we might have to work on that. But follow the moon. So just be aware that there's things that you're not going to know about, and don't worry about it. It will reveal itself. So just don't push, don't be aggressive, and don't be persistent in trying to find that out, because it will uncover itself, and it will be a lot better for you in the long run if you just let it uncover. So that kind of a sense. And it's crossed by we are all connected. So I got a feeling that these Aries are really coming across where they feel like they're separate from everyone. They're feeling like they're not belonging. They're feeling like they're not feeling a part of everybody else. And not only that, consciously making a point of saying, that's not me, I'm not like that. You know, a barrier to everyone else, and they really have to let that really has to go. You can't have that and be successful, no matter what you choose. So we're all connected seems to be a challenge. It seems to be a challenge that you are part of the next person that comes at you. So a little bit of abrasion going on with these Aries. Feel like they're in these power pull positions, and they're wanting to really come forward and trudge ground and, you know, tell me what's going on, what's happening, and that's really not a smooth way to go. It's not creating good karma. I have my good karma shirt on. It's not creating the good karma. It's really being abrasive and being, you know, like a steamroller, and you're leveling people off, and these people will never come back in your corner again. And we want to work together, not against. And it seems like these Aries are working against. So there might be a situation. I don't feel like a culmination of a huge argument, but really seeing the outside world as no, you know, separate, being separate from everyone, and preferring to be so, but in a stubborn kind of way. So that's not the not the greatest situation I'm seeing here. What's flooding the reading here? We have nurture all that you love. So that's number 30. Getting a sense that you're kind of thinking about these feelings, these softer feelings, but not going outward with it. I feel a sense of disconnection there with what's going on in your mind and what you're doing. So there's a complete black and white here, two-facedness, if you will. Really, that's what it is. It's like there's this mind going on inside that's very soft, very nurturing, and very accepting, but yet doing the opposite of that. So I'm not too sure why that is, but we'll go through here and see what happens. What is passing away from you is reveal your truth, and that is that's not a great card to have in your passing, because it's well, reveal your truth. So that is more along the lines of, I get a sense that there's a lot of trust issues going on with these Aries, and they're coming out with this armor that's really not being accepted by everyone. So it's almost like if this revealing your truth is passing away, I feel like there's a situation here where these Aries were in a vulnerable position where they felt vulnerable to someone else or somebody else. And I feel like this is not family, it's outside of your family, immediate family and friend. And I feel like they were in a vulnerable position and may have got stung there. So that may have, whoosh, put that armor on, and now they're just not being that way. That's kind of a test for them, that they're coming across something that's just, they're reacting in the wrong kind of way. It's basically, like Mother Teresa, I think, said it. If you get anger, don't react with anger. Keep being giving, and if you get hate, keep being kind, and that kind of thing. And it's almost like the opposite is happening with these Aries. They're going in and they got shot down, and now they're giving it back. And that, war against war never does create less war. It creates more war. So that's kind of the thing. You really have to come from a place where you're realizing that this is the wrong thing to do. But I think it's just, again, a lot of patterns with all these signs are really needing to come to an end here. So reveal your truth in your passing. It's almost like, yeah, I don't care to tell anybody my secrets anymore. I don't care to tell anybody anything anymore, because they're not doing for the better of me. But the real thing is that they got to deal with that karma themselves. It's how you react creates your own as well. And I feel like these Aries are going, I don't care, I'm bulldozing. So you need to kind of step back and think, what is this creating for my life? How am I creating more drama? Really, that's what it is. Keeping away from the drama or stepping into it. And a lot of these Aries, man, that's just their nature to step into it. They have the tools that they figure they gained for this, and they need to kind of step back and get new tools, different toolbox, different shop altogether. They got to get in the other direction. So revealing your truth, it's like, a warning would be, just be more choosy on who you choose to tell your secrets to. Be more choosy on who you choose to trust, rather than, going the other way and retaliating against everybody that you give your secrets to. I think that's kind of it. I think that somebody's betrayed you in a way, and now you're shut down. I don't know that it was a big upheaval. Getting the sense that someone's been wronged, or like almost like a backstabbing in a way, and they're really kind of just on the verge of like, give me a break here. Like, this person's gonna get it. And so just think about karma when you do that. That's all. So in your near future, see yourself in nature. Getting this for a lot of people is to really, in the fall, be outside, be outdoors. I mean, I'm getting the sense that these Aries are naturally going to be outdoors anyway. They're going to be in it. So just enjoying that time maybe, and not taking it for granted. Maybe backyard parties, that kind of thing, and that's the sense I'm getting here, is just mingling outside instead of being cooped up in the house. So that would, that's a good easygoing feeling that I'm getting. So all of these little issues that you have, they're kind of either really far out of your circle, or they're just, you know, kind of going to blow over. And hopefully it's you handling it the right way. When you handle it the right way, then it doesn't become, you know, so much apart. So there's a lot of looseness I'm getting in the sense of these, you know, relaxing and at home and stuff. And so it doesn't seem to be too traumatic, this squabbling or whatever it is, or, you know, the mental capacity to hang on to these errors that people make, and with the resentment and that. So it's not that huge. In your in your distant future, pardon me, be without malice. So there's that warning of, you know, resentment. And now it's in your future, and this is an unchangeable card, so it seems like you won't be able to compress all of that anger and all of that resentment and not go outward with it. So just be careful, I guess, who you attack and how you do it, and be mindful of what you're doing and what you're creating on your own self. Is it a lot of these Aries, they go along and they just don't know what they're doing to themselves. They're going, I'm doing it to them, and it's all pointing the finger, but they don't realize it's all that plus another comes back on you. They don't realize that. So that's really what the malice is all about. You got to really temper that and come back and say, okay, is this rational, reasonable, and honorable? You know, would I want to be treated that way? And a lot of times they don't. They just go from, I mean, you know, Aries, Ram, they just go. And then they think later, oh, my head hurts. You know, they bash into that cement wall, and then they go, oh, yeah, my horns are hurting. Well, you know, they just got to stop and think. You go, yeah, that's brick, man. I'm not going to get through that. Carry on. Like, it's not worth it. That kind of thing. And they're not realizing that until it's too late. So it seems like that's going to happen again. That's a lesson that's been coming up for you guys, I think, for a while. You're not getting through to it. So it just is a cycle that you're kind of spinning in. And then when you decide you want to get out of it, you will. So as we carry on, it's surrender to the flow. So, yeah. How do you get someone to surrender to a flow if they can't see the lake? I don't know what's going on. I think that maybe some of them are just going to have to get pushed in inadvertently. Something's going to happen. It's just going to drama-rama to a point where it's going to be a big explosion, and you'll have to look at it. I think these Aries just can't be convinced. One, they don't trust anybody enough, and two, they're just not going to listen. If they do, they're going to do what they want to do, and it's usually, I hate to say, out of their ego. And that's really the direction that they have to kind of fade away from. I mean, a lot of, I don't know if it's maybe the timing of the season or what, but a lot of these egos really got to take a back seat. You know, they can backseat drive, but they got to be in the back, not in the front. They can't be leading the show here. And surrendering to the flow, I think, is really about putting that ego aside, because that'll help you see where the river is. Oh, there's a river over there. Holy, didn't even know, because you had your goggles on. You know, the ego was there, driving, going that way, and the river was over here. So surrendering to the flow is kind of, you know, along that path, and I feel like it's going to come after a mishap that's really going to drag you under. Something that the warnings were all there, but you just didn't listen. You're being stubborn, bullheaded, and that kind of thing, and just running right into it. I don't care, and the whole world could be against you, but you figure you're right, and then in the end, you're going to realize that it just wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it for the payoff. Like, what you got out of it wasn't worth it. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. This is an unchangeable card. It's really not something that you can change. It was here, anywhere, but there, or here. So we'll see what we come across here. Like, see the truth. It's also giving me a sense, too, that you're just not seeing all the facts. You're making up your mind before all the tests are in, you know. You're not really being illuminated 100% with the facts that you need to make the decision that you've made up to that point. So, yeah, I kind of do see a kind of a blow-up happening here, or a building. You know, you have a few incidences and it builds and builds and builds and builds, and this is what I'm getting. So seeing the truth of the situation, or at least seeking that, or trying to get to that, it will help you. And having courage. See, it's funny, I don't see Aries as as being people that are lacking courage at all. I mean, if anything, they've got too much courage. They jump when they shouldn't, or they are bold when they should maybe step back. But I think they're meaning you're gonna have to have courage in order to surrender to this flow, in order to kind of say, you know, the way I've been working things is just not working anymore. It's not working, and then you look back and you go, maybe it never really has. It never really has worked for me. So what do I need to do? That's completely opposite. I said that in another sign too. I just have to kind of go in another direction and try something different. Your outcome card is Heed the Messengers, 16. So it's almost as if you are getting the instinct, but you're not listening. But the possibility is there that you can do it. You can, and I feel like there has to be a little bit of a shift. Has to be a little bit of an enlightenment, or a little bit of some kind of awareness that you haven't got in the present moment, that is not there. Like if you look at these three cards, actually, they're Follow the Moon, Nurture All You Love, and Heed the Messenger. It's like there's, and it's all in the above part. It's all in the head. It's all in there, but you're speaking with the darker sense of things. So you really have to roam around in your head and pick out those instincts, because I think you've got instinct and ego mixed up. Aries, ego and instinct. That's basically what it is. You mix those two up, and man, that is a bad concoction right there. Because if you're following your ego, you're just going to get beat down all the time. It never fails. You're going to get beat down. Whether it's in remorse for things that you've done, or hit down by other people, and then you got to, come back from that. So very much, I mean, it's Aries is very much a struggling. Well, they don't see their own lives as struggling, but the outside world will see them as strugglers because they're not really. Yeah, it's that ego sense. But heeding the messengers, so it's really just getting those instincts and just shutting them down, shutting it down. And it's right kitty corner here to be without malice. So it's really that resentment and that anger and that frustration against others. And also, the fact that you cannot understand that we are all connected, or maybe not understanding it as much as absorbing it and working from that we are all connected. When you look at life where that person is a sense of me, no matter what I do and no matter what they do, you really do react from a different source. You react from a different place because you see the beauty in other people, the positivity in other people, not the bad, negative, or not only that, it's not even just seeing the positive and negative, but saying that I don't like that. That is not a part of me. I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. And that just makes you powerless against anything to solve that, to create better out of that. It just knocks that right out of the equation. So in that way, I see a lot of struggles for these Aries, and I feel like they've come from a lot of struggles, so it's not a big deal. It's just the way they live. But the way they're going is really not the right way. They have to come from compassion. They have to nurture the faults of other people. They really have to come and say, well, why is it that they've got that? Be one step beyond hate. And I feel like there's a lot of hate in these Aries. I don't know what's going on, that they're holding a lot of resentment and a lot of fear. And really that's where it comes from. They would never admit that, but that's where it comes from, is fear to be vulnerable, to show your truth to people. You get shot down. You got to get past that. You got to lift yourself past that. Even if you have to come into a sense of seclusion to really let everything ruminate and let all those things, because it's really like in your head, there's good stuff going on. You're just not having the courage, and maybe that's what your courage is for, to come forward with it. to make that move. Why? Because it's different than what I've done before. But you know what? You'll get different results. And when you look at the results that you can get when you have the courage to stand in your truth and filter that forward, and then you start getting good reactions, good people, good situations, then it just becomes a part of your outer universe. Because somewhere in there, that you're getting mixed up with the good and the bad. Because if it was all good ruminating up in there, mind you, it's got to be something you think and you speak and you feel. It's got to all line up in those 3 areas at least, right? Think, speak, feel. You got to live it. You can't just speak, and that's that kind of that two-sidedness I was getting here. The moon and the day, getting into the flow here. It's along a path, and it's right after this Be Without Malice card. So it seems like there's going to be a situation where you're going to be quite fired up and you're going to be resentful of someone, what they did to you, what happened, and you may not have all the truth of what it is, but you're reacting from a place that you feel is right, and that is why you kind of have to temper that, is because you may find out later that there are incidences there where you didn't have all the facts, and then you look really bad at that point, and you don't want to do that. You want to avert that. You want to temper the anger and these people. And I'm also getting a sense too that some of these Aries are really just going up to people that they know, their instinct knows that these people are going to cut them off, these people are going to do wrong to them, but they go in there anyway. It's kind of like a troublemaking thing, and that's gotta end, because it ends up biting you back. So go to the people that are more in alignment. It's almost like you guys are going to the anti-aligners. People that are not aligned with you. And you feel that discord, but you go there anyway. And you're like, it's almost like that bullheadedness. You're going in there and you're like, I don't got a good feeling, but I'm going to go in there anyway. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So just really a sense of habit of not following your intuition. So you really need to just stop doing that. You need to find out what your intuition is. And even though that may be a dip in the ice water there, it'll warm up and those cubes will melt, and I'll tell you, it'll be a lot nicer down the road than what you've had. So a lot of not dark, but a lot of just mischievous energy going on here, and needing the courage to come forward in your truth. Because I feel like these Aries too are another set of people that are really, I got all the cards, but you never play any. You got all the cards here, but you never play the right ones, the ones that should be played, which is coming from truth, love, honesty, and loyalty, those kind of things. And if someone wrongs you, then you turn away. You learn your lesson. You don't keep going back. You don't keep getting stung. It's almost like, there's a knowledge there of these people that are, not doing good, and you kind of want to go there. That doesn't make sense to me. What I'm seeing is wanting to go in the direction of people that have wronged you. It's like, no, just get away and find a different vibration, because all they're going to do is increase that vibration that you don't like. But there's really a mix-up in the mind there of what I think excitement and instinct and ego and all that stuff is all wound up in one big ball, and just not taking the time to really sit and relax. Because I think, and I'm not too sure why, because I get the sense too that in your mind you know what's going on, but you have never acted from that position. And then you look back and you go, yeah, I knew that in my head, but I just didn't react from it. And that's that Aries thing. So I don't know. You don't get past it this time. You still have another loop to go, but that's a lesson, right? Of listening to your instincts and knowing what they are and trusting them. But I think you've gotten so used to disharmony that is where you just resonate in the disharmony. And so that is the comfort that you think you're seeking, but you're not seeking the comfort. You need to get out of that. And the comfort is not comfortable. It shouldn't be comfortable. but you've made it comfortable. And that's kind of the Aries trait, is like they'll fight their way out of it, but they're still fighting, and you need to just get out of the ring. Get out of the ring. Don't get in there. So a little bit of conflict there. It's a lot of, it seems like there's, for some it could be underground, for some it could be quite a few bold and boisterous situations coming about, squabbles. You know, I'm getting some that are younger actually, and really getting fired up, angry, words, shouting, that kind of thing. So the younger ones, I guess, are kind of, I don't know, just not seeing things straight. Yeah. So maybe make a realization that, you know, you don't know everything and you don't see everything, and then there are things that are yet to be revealed. And if you have the patience and courage and all of that to kind of wait it out, those things, I feel like you can avert the drama, but I feel like you can see it. You can go, oh yeah, that was the situation right there. I knew. I reacted against what I knew because of, you know, whatever it was. That feeling of being disconnected from people, really, I think is the root of everything, is saying that I don't see anything of you in me, and you don't see anything of me in you, and that's, I don't want that. And that's really the root issue of why everything is disconnected. You really got to see, look for people's, look for the qualities in people that attract you, not for the qualities that you don't want any part of. Because those are really the people that you're not resonating with. It's like you want to resonate with good stuff, but you're just creating bad stuff and going to the bad areas. You know, going and digging up stuff that you don't need to. When you're kind of, you know, it's like you just, there's something there. It's like a loop that is not stopping with some of these. So you have to really be mindful. So I feel like it may bring about a situation where it's going to be quite a shocker down the road if these warnings are not followed. You know, heed the messenger. That's really your saving grace here, if you listen. And I feel like you're getting it. I feel like you're getting it. You're acknowledging it and going, nope, I'm going to go this way instead. And you constantly are doing that. So hopefully it's not quite, I feel like the mother's saying, don't you do that. But these Aries are stubborn, and they're going to go in that direction, and they'll lose everything. You know, they'll go there till they lose everything. And it may come down to that, you know, because there's going to be warning signs along the way. And they're just, and that is pure ego, and man, that'll get you into trouble. So be aware.